Welcome back to the channel once again, Patina family, your favorite Benz collectors reviewing not your cars this time, but this time we're doing celebrity collabs with Mercedes.
As long as there's been corporations, they've been out of touch with a lot of regular everyday people. So in order to gain your trust, your insight, and also borrow some value from these celebrities, they often do collaborations. So such great collaborations as Subway sandwiches and that one guy named Jared, Bud Light and that one guy named... Either way, guys, today we're going to talk about Mercedes brand and some of their wild and crazy collaborations they've had over time. So the world's biggest Benz collectors, us two with our museum down here in South Florida, are going to review Mercedes-Benz celebrity collaborations.
Let's do it. We're going to start first with someone that we've seen around the Mercedes brand for the past few years with a few collaborations with Mercedes, with clothing and his own car. It's A$AP Rocky.
Big up to the little A$AP mob. You know, back in the day, not even back in the day, I mean, just a couple, maybe a decade ago.
Yeah,
it's a great musical scene that was created. And coming from that, he shot into stardom with many hit songs, collaborations, and of course, celebrity marriages and engagements.
Yeah, A$AP definitely brought back the New York hip hop scene. You know, New York wasn't really dominating for a while. The South was, the West Coast as well. You know, after Dipset was probably one of the last great movements in that era in the early 2000s, and then A$AP came out and they killed it. So the whole A$AP mob had great taste in clothing and in cars. They displayed that in their videos. Our guy A$AP Rocky, Rakim, named after the great Rakim himself, had to come with the Benz, just like the original Rakim. He did the 190E. So here it is, the collab with A$AP Rocky. This is basically the AUG 190E that he did, and he did it representing Mercedes and landed in a few video games, and here it is.
Pretty neat car, has a whole Jekyll and Hyde thing going on, half and half. It reminds me of those cookies we would get at delis once in a while and growing up in New Jersey.
Right.
The Chinese cookies are the black and white cookies. Yeah. I'm sure there's all sorts of other cookies being consumed in that car.
Yeah, so this car is really cool. He did a lot of extra stuff that you would not normally see on a 190E tribute build from the era. He did a lot of radical stuff like the writing on the door that says, if not now, then when? I think that's one of the tattoos he has, actually.
If not now, then when? You see this right here? Y'all got that?
The gold accents is beautiful, the gold grille, very extreme, radical thing he did with the half and half. Let's go to another picture. There it is right there.
Yeah, it has the racing wheels, you have the ground effects on it. I think it's a pretty neat execution. I would like to have seen more done with the interior, you know, really gone crazy with it. Maybe just do a full split, you know, maybe reverse Oreo the interior or something like that, crazy, you know. But all in all, really neat. The headlights with the racing tape throwback era stuff on it's pretty cool. The wheels, you know, racing wheels look dope.
Very dope, very original wheels. The front splitter is insane. It's literally sitting on the ground. The car is on bags, so he's definitely has it right here, flattened out on the ground, sitting, laying frame, as they say. And this is definitely Evo 2 kit. So. And
I love that all the accent gold you have on the mirror there.
Yeah, which is usually really cool. A rubber part, and here they have it in like a metal finish, which is beautiful. It looks extra wide from the front. Right here, he's sitting on the front hood.
That's just the angle, I think, of the Evo kit, right? Because it has the arches, so it's the Evo 2 kit.
Correct. And I love the front green fog lights, very Japanese.
I've seen some cars with some green fog lights, and I just thought that looked futuristic. Why not on a car with like no colors, it's just shade, right? Black and white, it's just the only colors you really get are the illuminated tail lights, the headlights, and the fog lights.
This actually landed in a game, which is pretty cool. I believe it was Need for Speed.
All different colors to make it more of a spectacle when you see me driving past you in a video game, you know?
There's the A$AP Empire State New York plate, not the regular one with the actual Statue of Liberty. I kind of like this one a little more on this car. Nice little touch with the yellow. Shout out to A$AP Rocky, man. Sick. And here's a clip of him that he put out getting into the car and driving it. Check this out.
Damn. Whoa. That's crazy.
A$AP Rocky, known of course for his music, but now of course for his legendary celebrity skyrocketing status. I think he's done more just stuff on media and marriage and things like that, kind of working his way through that. In terms of music, he still is always a huge draw out there to events. I know we've seen him at like events like Rolling Loud and things like that. So it's always a great crowd, and of course, Benz picking a great execution someone that's connecting with up-and-coming collectors, really knocked it out the park. This car was done perfectly.
So another collab that he did with Mercedes a few years back, and you guys seen me get those pieces and actually wear them in a few things, including the Gemballa video. You guys see me rocking that, repping for that AUG. When he did that collab, actually our guy Jalil, A$AP Rocky actually called him from a private jet and said he was watching what we were doing while we were building the Patina Collective. This is before the channel even started. Just to know that we got that cosign from A$AP himself, and he was watching what we're doing. I know a couple A$AP members actually follow the Patina Collective, and we appreciate everything they're doing in New York and keeping that Benz culture alive. We love what he did with the clothing collab, as well as the 1996 F200 concept Mercedes from the 1990s. That was dope as well, seeing him in that car. So we see Recaro seats in the interior, some custom new age Recaro seats.
A$AP Rocky's laying back in this photo like he's enjoying some fruits of his labor.
Yeah, man. Worked hard and earned this. Great taste in cars and in fashion. So shout out the whole A$AP family.
Big up to Harlem, representing with, of course, the gold grille and the gold Mercedes emblem, the Mercedes star. Classic 80s, 90s move. We definitely need to get this car in here.
Yes,
A$AP.
sir. Hell yeah. So holla at us, brother. Let's collab on something.
I wonder where this car is right now. Do you think he has it at home, or it's stashed somewhere in the Mercedes archives?
I believe he has it, and he drives it, man.
I hope so.
It's a cool car, man. Love seeing anything with Mercedes related and hip hop. It always blends well. And Rock-Am, aka A$AP Rocky, killing it with the custom 190E. Next, we got Virgil Abloh, rest in peace, one of the greatest innovators in fashion of our time, one of the last trailblazers. He was creative director at Louis Vuitton before he passed, and did a lot of great things. And another great thing he did was collaborate with Mercedes before he passed.
Who would have thought a kid from Chicago coming up and collabing with Kanye West early on would leave such a huge mark on the fashion world, the art world, the world in general, and also evoke so much sadness and response when he passed. I remember going to the RSVP gallery in Chicago back in the days, this is like in the mid-2000s. It was already a vibe in the city then. Had a chance to meet him once. All in all, just really sad story. However, he leaves his legacy behind, not just in clothing and fashion, but in the world of Benz. So let's take a look, Vico, and see what we think.
Boom, here's the G-WAGON done by Virgil. So he did a really different look on this. It's almost like, how would you say this? Like a deconstructed type of look slash, it almost looked like marble or something. I don't know. You tell me what you think.
I think it's like a deconstructed, semi-distressed take on a G-Wagon that could survive anything, because you have the cargo netting inside, so you can't get thrown around out the windows when you have the windows down. So you don't need windows, so you don't have to worry about glass breaking, but then also slammed to the ground. So it's a very much if I were to interpret it as a piece of art, is a classic duality of a subject matter, both its ruggedness and refinement.
Very nice finish on it. Not the whole car is painted, but wherever it is painted, it's a nice satin pearl color. It reminds me of those cars.
Dolls.
Figurines, dolls. That's what it kind of looks like to me. That's what it feels like to me.
And I love the custom tires too, with the Mercedes-Benz Geländewagen writing on it. So that's something I've never seen before. I think it's amazing. Very, very brilliant touch. And of course, you can't really drive. They're more for display. Sure, you could drive them around just as a prop, but beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. That's my next question. Does this car drive? Do you know for a fact it doesn't drive?
I don't know if it drives or not, but you take a look at the seats. They're like crazy looking, like head wraparound seats, and they're almost like a spaceship seat. So it's, very high-end, elegant. I don't even know if this thing drives or not. The tires don't look like they have tread on them.
Yeah.
So.
And if you look closely, there's a roll cage all throughout the interior, which is actually like a Tiffany blue roll cage. And he has Tiffany blue matching tailpipes coming out of the side skirt right there.
That's sick.
That's nasty. And that's just like his taste right there. Just, he always did that with his clothing. He always did something that was kind of off the cuff.
A surprise.
Yeah, off the cuff. And that was kind of his style.
Actually, this G-Wagon isn't just a thrown together collab. It took time. There's a lot of thoughtfulness in it. There's a lot of nuance in it.
Look at this.
And look at that interior. It has a full F1 racing steering wheel, to it.
Yeah, I love the steering wheel right here with the buttons on it. Super dope. All white dash, reconfigured dash. He really redesigned the interior more than the exterior, even though the exterior is redesigned, but he went extreme on the interior for sure. Fire extinguisher in the middle.
Harkening back to Mercedes history as well,
Yeah,
having this fire extinguisher available in the car.
The big red button right there, not sure what that's.
Probably the start button.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty dope.
That's pretty dope. He made it like a big toy,
Yeah.
And that's what the vibe he was going for, I believe, with this one.
That's what he did. He wanted to make it a big toy. His little promo video of it, he's starting as like a little toy that got bigger.
Yep.
All in all, it kind of shows
The inner child.
yeah, the inner child, the desire for
playfulness.
playfulness,
Yeah.
and just a full expression. So this wasn't just some corporate BS collab. This is something that really came from his heart and a very elegant design.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but what he did with the steering wheel is pretty cool. He took the middle of the usual AMG steering wheel you find in the modern cars. The way he did it almost feels like a gaming console controller.
Yeah,
You know?
100%.
So rest in peace, Virgil. We love this car. We love everything you did to it. Big part of the culture that we're missing.
And shout out to our boy Adam Jason Cohen out there in Chicago, one of the great photographers that you've ever met, one of the most, I think, well-respected in his group and his community, doing amazing street shots in Chicago, and then also doing great portraits. And he actually had a whole series to do with Virgil shortly before he passed. Shout out to Adam. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have had that interaction with him in that elevator at Soho House. So
That's cool.
Big up.
One more thing about this car right here. The vents, he has the red X's over the vent.
cool.
Reminiscent of, his clothes with all the X's and stuff.
That
Cool
roll
stuff.
cage is sick. The interior is
The interior
awesome.
is so cool and so many details. The doors have these little straps to pull them in. All in all, basically a dive into his imagination,
A dive into his imagination is exactly it. Can't wait to see this car one day in person. I don't think we've seen it yet at any of the events
I've
we've
never
been to.
seen it in person. We'd love to see it. We'd love to have it in the museum. So Mercedes, if you're watching, reach out to us and let us have that Virgil, that piece that we could put in the museum and represent the heritage and, of course, his memory.
Oh my God, what happened to Virgil?
We're going to stay on the legendary Virgil and we're going to talk about the next collab that he did, and that is something you might have seen more recently in the streets all over the place. And our guy Don C, another Chicago native, another Chicago legend, has this car right here, and it is the Virgil Maybach collab.
So I'll give you my opinion, Vico.
Go ahead.
Might not be the popular one, but I'll give it to you. The car we just saw, the G-WAGON, is a piece of art. It's an expression. It is meant to be a limitless, fantastic thing he created as a piece of art and experience tied to the Mercedes brand. And a representation, like you said, Vico, of his inner child and everything cool and being able to do something really neat. This Maybach is meant to be a commercial product. So it's unfair to look at it through the same lens.
No, correct.
As the previous car we looked at. That being said, great palette they picked from color-wise, neat contrast. Aside from being tied to Virgil, I think there are better specs out there by far of the Maybach, but still a cool car. Let's check it out.
I love the two-tone. This is not a color you usually see, a Middle East vibe with the sand-looking color. I like that. This definitely works in the Middle East for sure. I love this look. These cars, I feel, and I think we both agree on this, they look better in two-tone. We've seen them in person many times, and they just don't hit the same when it's all one color. The two-tone really makes it feel like a luxurious car.
The only monocolor version of the Maybach is the original Maybach that looks good, I think, in a monocolor. And all black and all silver. That's different. This, if you're going about this era, when you start getting into that more the phantom body styling and kind of trying to compete with the Rolls Royces and the more modern look, the two-tone is the way to go.
I believe this car, the dimensions, the way it was designed, the sleekness of it, when you do one color throughout the whole paint, it actually makes it look smaller. That's just my opinion. Optically, when you do the two-tone, it really gives it the presence it deserves. And you see it right here with Virgil's V12 Maybach, and it's a beautiful car. The wheels, same wheels that he used on the G-WAGON, same shape. So that's pretty much the only full-face option from Mercedes themselves. Other than like the spokes and all that. The interior is mainly pretty much got the same seats, same configuration, but it's all about the color patterns, and it's almost like a Designo, like a special Designo edition just for Virgil.
I think it's a cool looking car. Definitely more of a cash play for Mercedes, I think, trying to really capitalize on it. I think they were charging crazy money for this version. I think they were doing like 150K over sticker or something like that at one point when things were really hot. So dealerships love them, Benz love them. I would have liked to see something a little more Virgil-esque. Maybe they contained the design a little bit more because it wasn't going through a commercial process.
Right.
Beautiful car. Love the Maybach. I think you could probably go out there and spec one out that looked maybe better. Don C, don't hold it against me.
Yeah.
We'll help spec out your next one, brother.
We're actually going to move on, but we're going to still stay on Virgil once again because he did one more collaboration with Mercedes.
Now this is what we're talking about.
And this is more the patina style. This is reminiscent of those tuner cars in the 80s where they would take a car and just transform it to something completely different. So this is the Virgil Abloh Maybach concept. It was actually entitled the Project Maybach, and it's pretty extreme, and I believe this is owned by Drake today.
Drizzy, you brought this car to Canada. Maybe it's in LA, who knows? But one day bring it to the Mecca so it can be pulled up among its righteous brethren. This is an incredible vehicle.
Sick.
Look at it. It's a throwback, like Vico said, harkening to an older era, an era from the 80s, some ruggedness mixed in with modern design, LEDs. It may be an electric vehicle, I'm not sure, because it doesn't seem to have any air intakes in the front, but it is an absolutely beautiful car. Love the colors on this one because it is meant to be sitting in the desert.
Right.
Has a roof rack, has a custom interior, all in all Vico, God tier car.
And the cool thing about this car is it's a whole new car. It's not really based on anything, but the interior is just so futuristic, and the seats, look at these
Definitely an
seats.
electric car, I think, right?
Look
Look
at
at
these
it.
seats. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
electric.
I like how it has the pull tab. Is that to slide it forward, or is that where
It
your
might
buckle
be.
goes through?
It might be, I'm not sure, to be honest.
The roller seats?
Yeah, looks really comfortable.
I don't think
Very
so.
futuristic.
This looks like toilet paper rolls that you sit on.
I mean, look,
It's a Bounty quicker picker-upper.
this is that Virgil vision, man.
It's cool. I love it. It's neat, but I wouldn't call them comfortable. I would say this is like retro futuristic almost, like
yeah.
a future, but it's kind of gone savage. This is what you'd have if you were going to another planet.
Yeah, and
you don't want to drive this thing around.
You got the Maybach hatchet. That's
Exactly.
pretty dope.
Split some logs, split some wigs.
Pretty dope. That's pretty dope. And here's Drake sitting in the car right here. Famous picture that we've seen a few times. Yeah, here's the back end. The back end looks great.
Actually, I don't like the back as much. I think the side angle's great, the front looks great, the back could look a little more militant. That's just me.
Yeah, no, the front is very classy. It looks like an off-road vehicle from the back, but that's kind of the concept of this car. So it's kind of a hybrid. So the front is kind of luxurious, the back is kind of more off-road, and then you got the roof rack, and it's a cool safari, Arab money type of car. Sick car. Anything with a Maybach logo on it, I'm in. And man, another car that we'd love to have on display one day.
Fog lights are dope too.
Yeah.
They could blind you.
Yeah, sick. You got 4 fog lights on the front push bar. Love this collaboration right here with Virgil once again, and he's a genius, and it shows in all of his work, man. Virgil, thank you for all your contributions to art and to the Mercedes game, man.
And Drake, please keep this in the US or North America. Do not sell it out somewhere else. If you ever for some reason go crazy and you sign a deal with BMW for like $500 million to promote it, haram, and you have to then realize you have to sell all of your pure, beautiful cars, we'll take that Benz.
We'll take that, brother. Next,
But don't do a deal with the devil.
You don't want to make a deal with the devil.
Next, we got an unconventional collab. A lot of people didn't really like this collab. A lot of people weren't feeling it. Another pop star, another superstar.
Superstar. There's something going around the internet saying that there's one song called Home from the 2000s was the worst song ever.
Boats and waterfalls, alleyways and payphone calls.
It's not. Go through the entire Ice Spice catalog and spin a wheel, and you will find a song that is way worse.
Yeah.
One of her songs is just about farting.
Think you the shit, bitch. You not even the fuck.
Ice Spice CLA collab with Mercedes, and this is kind of crazy right here. Boom, there it is. Princess, Ice Spice on the wheels. A lot going on here. Cuban going across the car. Now this is definitely not a car you can drive. This is definitely just an art piece right here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you cannot see through the windows. This is very extreme, and I remember a lot of people were polarized by this. They weren't really with it, but I'm sure a lot of people loved it as well. It's art. After all, it is subjective.
It is subjective. They say it's art if it moves you. And it definitely moves most people to look at it. You know what, as much as I think of her as an artist in terms of her music, I don't hate it for what it is. It just is a bit overdone motif, a bit tacky. The drips are very much like from Bin Trill, mid-2000s type of thing. She's trying to throw it back to the princess nameplate necklace. Doesn't even sit on the Cuban right. I would say that the concept is interesting. Execution is over the top. It looks like the movie Ghostbusters when you got like slimed or ectoplasm on you. That's
Right.
what happened to the car, but with a ratchet from New York designing it.
Batman, what happened? Are you okay? He slimed me.
She doesn't hide the fact that she's ratchet. She likes to twerk every opportunity she has, and I'm sure her twerking on this car would get great publicity. This is a beautiful car that was turned into a piece of art. The CLA itself, their design is very nice. It works very
The
well.
CLA, the baby mama
It's
Benz.
the baby one, but they gave it cues of the other cars so that the headlights, the taillights, you could mistake it for something else.
So let me rewind. Mercedes actually did a great job selecting Ice Spice for the baby mama Benz.
Yes, sir.
Makes sense.
Makes sense, right?
Great. The demo overlaps.
Here's her with her car right here. Proud designer, let's say, of this collab right here. But hey, it's a piece of art. It works.
It
brings
moves
a
you.
whole- I'm sure it brings a whole new crowd to Mercedes, which was their goal.
It evokes emotion.
Yes, and I'm sure this was a targeting of an
Who
audience.
owns this now, you think? Do you think anyone ponied up to pay the dollar for this one, Vico, or do you think she has it at home?
I don't think she'll have it at home. I don't think this car drives, like I said. I think it's more of a piece, an art piece that you can push around, move around. Not sure where it is. If I was her, my house was big enough, I would have it inside my home, in one of my rooms in my house.
Oh,
That's
no.
just me, though. Ben's God vibes, but hey.
I don't think she's hit a recoupable yet.
But guys, she did a collaboration with Mercedes, and that's all that matters.
Big up
here.
to Ice Spice for pulling off that collab.
So shout out to Ice Spice, and shout out to this cool design right there. And don't forget, that chain she's wearing is the one that's on the car, which is pretty dope.
You know what? Mercedes avoided a real Cracker Barrel moment on this one.
Damn. Next, we got Will.i.am. I have a cool story about Will.i.am. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about this car right here.
Well, I am interested in what this car looks like. First off, we're starting off with the badging on the back, the Will.i AMG. So I actually like it's the Will.i.am AMG playoff.
Pretty
Clever and done well. I like that. Let's see what the car looks like. Okay. What is the base model off of?
It's a GT.
GT, yeah?
63, I believe, but he went crazy.
Wow.
And he put a front end of a G-WAGON.
It almost looks like the Lancia Integrale type of look in the front. I remember seeing this when I first saw this. I was like, ugh. And then the more I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? Very cool. And I didn't think he had it like this. I didn't know that he had the design chops to work on something to create this. And I personally think for what it is, the expression it is, showing that he's into automotive, culture and can take design cues and kind of cross them over. I think he did a great job. It's absolutely really cool, and with the suicide doors, it just kind of tops it off perfectly.
Yeah, man, this is really dope, and I actually got the chance to have dinner with Will.i.am in Bahrain with Sheikh Abdullah Al Khalifa. This was a while ago, but I met Will.i.am when he was still, a superstar and doing his thing with Black Eyed Peas, and we had an interesting dinner. It's cool to see him transition from music into Ben's stuff, which is kind of what ended up happening with me, but he's obviously killing it with this collab with Mercedes, and the front end of this G-WAGON on this GT is just something that I don't think anybody would have imagined.
It's almost like how we have the G-WAGONs that have the front ends of the sedans on them.
Yeah.
It's a very Middle Eastern throwback thing to the 80s, 90s Middle Eastern royalty of how they would tune cars. So I love it. Makes sense that you met him with the Sheikh.
Yeah.
Amazing car.
And he was just chilling out there. He was like chilling at the
no
mansion.
pressure, just hanging out.
Yeah, he was
Black
out
Eyed
there.
Peas, they were ridiculous. Now you talk about superstars. For a while, each one of them was a superstar in their own right. That Asian guy didn't really have staying power, but everyone else was a real superstar in their own right.
Fergie, but look, end of the day, to do something this radical to the GT and have people respect it and still, because it's something, it's hard to redesign cars when you're not a known car designer, especially when you're an artist, and to come from where he came from Black Eyed Peas all the way to this point, very impressive.
Wow.
And this is sick. This is something different that you don't see anywhere. And it's really a representation of him. And even the sound system in this car, I heard, is incredible. He did a lot of work on the acoustics of the sound system. Of course,
Very
he's
cool.
a music person.
What I think too is great about Will.i.am,
Yeah.
and call me lame for thinking this, but he's done a great job of maintaining his image and his brand and what he's like stood for, and kind of
Yes.
you never hear anything bad about him in the industry, like, oh, this guy's doing, and so that's why big brands will gravitate towards working with him, because he always brings positive energy and he always brings some like form of positivity to the collaboration, and the product is excellent.
Yeah, he was a real nice guy when we met. Kind of reclusive, kind of to himself, but he's a superstar. He lives like one, man. Riding around in this thing, I can't imagine.
Do you think he
him.
has it right now himself, or is it somewhere in the archive?
I think it's his. I think he has it. Designers and companies are probably starting to see his ability, just like Virgil, to be able to create incredible art outside of music and do it with cars.
Will.i.am, if you ever come to the Mecca, love to have you here. We'll park up
Yes, sir.
the car wherever you want, right in the museum, or in our lobby, or right in the middle of the highway. We'll stop traffic.
Yes, sir. So shout out to Will.i.am. Keep pumping out those radical Mercedes redesigns. We love it.
And say what's up to Fergie for us.
Next, we got a collab that's not from an artist or a person, but a legendary brand itself, Moncler.
I grew up in the area of New Jersey, which was near Montclair, and that is a town spelled differently. And so when I first heard of the brand, being who I was at the time, I thought it was referencing this small town, New Jersey. No, it's a aspirational mountaineering brand, Moncler.
It's from France?
From France or Switzerland.
All right. I remember growing up in Canada, people used to get robbed for their Monclers.
I believe it.
because the Moncler was expensive, the Canada Goose, but that was later on. But when we were young, the Moncler, if you had a Moncler, that was at least a couple bands, I believe.
Damn.
So, but guys, here, Moncler, we actually got to see this car in person.
That's right.
Me and Daniel. Here's me with it right here. And this was at Pebble Beach in 2023. And this is actually the Moncler G-Wagon on display. Probably the most insane version of the G-Wagon.
It was a really fantastic collaboration. Two brands who have the same aspirational base, especially in terms of the G-Wagon, right? Same base, same ruggedness, tying into survivalship, tying into aspiration, tying into high income. And so to have Moncler execute this and look this good, knocked it out of the park from a brand standpoint on a collab. So you brand managers who pulled this off from both teams, you killed it, knocked it out the park.
Like these type of art pieces that are this extreme of like a makeover sometimes look great in pictures and in media, but then when you see it in person, you can kind of see the flaws. You can kind of see, okay, well, you can tell it's not a real car. This car looked amazing in person. We did a 360, we walked all around it. We saw the front, the side, the back. We walked up to it and seen it up close in person, and it was an incredible sight. These wheels, this enclosure on the back here.
The bubble enclosure.
This is crazy. This is insane. And it really looked like those NASA space rovers, right?
Yeah, you would drop this thing onto a planet, it would bounce around, land on its wheels, and you go in and you drive it all around while you take over the indigenous people of that planet.
So this is something that you would see maybe in Star Trek or something like that. And the best part about it to me was the zipper on the back.
That is
which
cool.
was really insane. The way they tied that into, you know, their puffer jackets, their trademark, their line, their heritage. They tied it all in together with that zipper right there. Seeing it in person was crazy.
Yeah, it ties everything together in the brand. The durability, the ruggedness, ease of use, signature pieces, signature colors. It doesn't get better than this, and the thing looks great. And the way the install team sets it up to look that good every time is tremendous. These art pieces and cars take a whole network of people putting them together when you're talking about an installation of this scale. We know we have a museum here. It's not easy to do. So if you ever want to bring this to the museum, Moncler / Mercedes / whatever shake maybe owns one of these, we'll put it together for you right here.
Love the finish on the body. That rugged vintage patina. It has like a patina on it. It looks like it's been worn out.
Yeah.
Almost like an old leather jacket, you know? Where it's not like quite rust, but it's obviously
It's worn, mildly
it's
worn.
Exactly. So, and I love the way they tinted with the gradient, the metallic gradient tint on the side windows and the front windshield makes it look like it's sitting on a weird planet anywhere it is.
Yeah.
Because that's like the reflection you're seeing.
That's what they did here. It's on like an icy planet.
Exactly. So you see it right here with the ice all around it. It looks like it's on
Pluto or Neptune.
or Neptune.
Pluto's not a planet anymore, so we'll say Neptune.
Love it. And here you have the space cadet behind it.
That's a weird dude.
I never noticed that
That's
guy.
weird.
What is he doing?
I don't know. He's wearing a something around his crotch though.
Looks like he's flying to it.
I don't like it.
But
everything
anyway,
else is great.
Moncler, shout out to them. They actually did another G-Wagon collab recently with legendary designer from Bape, Nigo.
So it was a Moncler G-Wagon with Nigo also helping design.
Correct. So it was
A lot more usable version of it with the throwback to the wolf.
Yes.
Past to future. No, that's the whole idea they were going for. And G-Wagon kind of stepped into this with their tougher than the 80s or stronger than the 80s or whatever weird name they picked for that G-Wagon that has a similar interior, but of course not the puffy exterior as this one.
They called this the Past to the Future collab with Nigo. Pretty dope. We've seen different collaborations over the years, but this one was like a throwback to the 80s G-Wagon with the plaid interior, with the blacked out grille. That's how all the early G-Wagons are. You can see them right here. We have them in the collection. And you know, they always came two-tone with the black front lights, and they usually had the plaid interior. Another cool thing that they did with this one is they have the gold gas tank in the back. Very rugged.
Very rugged.
And this Moncler puffy soft top comes off.
Take it off. That's pretty neat. And then
And they did the folding front windshield.
and you could probably lay on that in the Arctic and just stay warm, wrapped up in that thing.
Yeah, that's dope. Look at it from here. This is the
Dope. That
top
is
shot
neat.
right here.
All in all, really neat collab. Vehicle looks great. I would say since they did the stronger than the 80s version with nearly the same interior, Nigo, you should get some residuals off that.
Orange seat belts.
I like
love
that.
that touch right there.
Yeah.
Very,
And the dark emergency, you can see what everything, you know,
Yeah.
it's perfect.
yeah. This is what it's all about. We love to see First of all, the throwback collabs, meaning the callbacks to the original vintage stuff that we love, of course, here at the Patina Collective.
Yep.
And one thing that's important is that this keeps happening. Collabs keep happening with the brands. We don't really see much collabs with celebrities and other brands as much as we see with Mercedes.
Yep.
And that's what's cool about Mercedes, is the variety of cars they have to offer for collabs. Like we've looked at a range of different collaborations today. We love seeing it. Please reach out to us if you guys have any other collabs that we didn't cover today. Drop them in the comments. We'll try to cover them on our next episode. But we really appreciate everyone checking us out today, watching the full video. If you made it to this point, subscribe, drop a comment, like, pick up some merch, new merch out now. We have multiple cars from the collection finally on some merch for you to pick up. So check it out right here, patinacollective.com.
Speaking of throwback collaborations, guys, if you're looking for your own rare, unique Mercedes that was tuned or modified by a German tuner in period, one of the few places you can find one right now is plushauto.com. Guys, go to plushauto.com for all of your Benz needs, where you can find Mercedes from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And guys, Plush Auto's who we trust for all of our transactions down here at the Patina Collective.
Unicorn hunting made easy. So that's about it for today. The Patina boys doing it for you guys, reviewing celebrity Benzes, your Benzes, all Benzes. We love Benz content and we're here for it.
The world's largest privately held Mercedes collection and a museum down here in Tamarack, Florida.